When selecting a site for your tent, you want to find a nice flat area that has very little roots because you're going to be sleeping on those roots. You want to lay your tent out and then you're going to put your poles in and set your tent up. Once you get your tent set up, you're going to put the rain guard on top of it and then you're going to stake it down. After you get it staked down, I have my tent laid out. I do have some ground cover underneath of it. However, you want to make sure that it's tucked underneath the tent before you finish to make sure it doesn't collect any rainwater should it rain. I've got one pole put together. I'm going to put the other pole together and then we're going to set our tent up. Now we have our tent pitched. We have the poles put in it. When you're pitching a tent, you need to make sure that you put the poles in first. Get both poles put in first. And then you secure the ends and these little eyelets on each side or in each corner. You do one cross pole at a time. And then make sure that these little hooks are attached to the pole. That will keep your tent open and ready to camp in. Now all we need to do is put the rain guard on the tent. If we don't put a rain guard on the tent when we sleep in this tonight, we might get wet. Now that we have the rain guard on the tent, we need to attach it to the tent using little snaps that are on each corner. Attaching these snaps to each corner to hold it down tight. And then we'll take this, the front side. As you can see, it's the front side because it has a zipper. It will come all the way out and create a little area, a little shielded area for you to be able to enter the tent. Once you have the rain guard attached, you need to make sure you stake down your tent so it's not going to move in the wind. Now that we've got our tent set up, we're going to start our fire so we can cook our supper. Some things you might want to have with you is a lighter, some dry kindling, and an axe. This axe is great because it helps you chop up the kindling to get the fire started. You also want to have some bigger pieces of wood. After you get the fire started, this bigger piece of wood will help keep the fire going. Now, I've got all my kindling chopped. I'm going to take this axe, which is actually kind of sharp. I'm going to take this sheath, I'm going to put it back over the sharp edge of the axe to protect anybody who might pick it up. So what I'm doing now to start the fire, I found some dry leaves and I piled them up. I'm going to put a couple pieces of our kindling on here. Gives the fire something to eat. This fire, basically what it's doing is it's eating the wood. Once you get them in here, get them kind of TP. You don't want to smush them down too far. Get them TP. Bring out the fire. Now that we've got our fire started, we're going to wait a little bit and let it get a little bit stronger before we add any more fuel or any larger fuel than what's on here. Might add a few more pieces of kindling to keep it going. But a few things about fire, you need to make sure that when you do set a fire that you don't leave it unattended. You need to make sure you know where your fire's at all times. You need to make sure you make it in a safe place. We have made this fire in a very nice grill so that we can cook our supper on the grill. You need to make sure that should you leave the fire or you get ready to go to bed, that you always put the fire out before you go to bed. Don't leave it burning. The problem with that is if you leave it burning and the area around you has been very dry, you run the chance of an ember coming out of the fire and hitting the dry leaves that are around your area. A few more things about fire. Fire needs 3 components in order to burn. It needs fuel, which is the wood. It needs oxygen, which is the air we breathe. And it needs heat. The fire actually has to heat up the wood before it can burn it. And that's part of the reason why it's slow going to get a fire started. Because that fire has to heat this wood up first before it can burn it. That's why when you go to put a fire out, if you douse it with water, the wood can't be heated up very well, so the fire goes out. If you smother it with dirt, you take away the oxygen. One of the things that's important to know is, where is your water source? This is one of our potable water hydrants here at Lake Norman State Park. We're going to fill up a bucket of water so if we need to put our fire out, we can use it. So we finished with our campfire today. We're fixing to go get ready to get in the tent for the night. So one thing we need to make sure we do is put this fire out. So I've got our bucket of water. I'm just gonna pour it on the fire very gently. Make sure I get the fire completely out. That fire is completely doused. There's no way that wood's gonna be burning anytime today. Weird good. Now, when you're out camping, one of the things you might do is go for a hike. One of the good things to have is a trekking pole or a hiking pole. This one's a nice one. It'll extend out and go longer. Or you can just get a really good stick out of the woods. Always make sure, if you're going to go for a hike, that you do take your water with you, because you don't know how long you're going to be out there. So, let's go for a hike. One of the things you might see if you go hiking here at Lake Norman State Park is this beautiful bog area or mountain seep. It's a very wet area. All this water, when it rains, just drains down into this little creek. We have done some work to open it up to allow native grasses and plants to grow here. It's increased the number of wildlife that actually utilize this area. And plus, it's just very pretty. State parks are home to a lot of wildlife. On your hikes, you may not see the wildlife, but you might find evidence of them. A squirrel had supper sitting right here on the railing of this bridge. And if you look down on the floor of the bridge, there's even more evidence of other squirrels, or maybe the same squirrel, eating supper right here on this bridge. One thing to know when you're making your reservations is, what kind of facilities does the campground have? Are they primitive sites where you only have pit toilets? Are they semi-primitive, such as this one? If you go in here, you'll see it only has restrooms and sinks. Or does the campground have a full bathroom with showers, toilets, and sinks, and hot and cold running water? A few more things to think about when you go camping. You're going camping in the woods. That's where the wildlife lives. So you're going to have to share the space with the wildlife. Do make sure that you properly stow your food away so that you're not feeding the wildlife and encouraging them to come into your campground. Make sure that you watch out for the wildlife because they can go anywhere. On our hiking trip, we could have saw any kind of animal. Make sure you're respectful of the campground that you go to. The hatchet I brought with me was only to be used to chop up the kindling I brought. It was not to be used to cut down any trees or to make any scars or marks on any of the trees. So our camping trip is ended and it's time for us to go home. We've packed up our tent and stowed it away. We've put out our fire and cleaned out our ashes. We've picked up our trash and our kindling and our axe. We've got our water and our food packed away in our vehicle. We've made sure our side is nice and clean and ready for the next person. And always remember with camping, have fun, be safe, and leave no trace. Hope you have fun camping. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.